Dear learner, welcome in my lecture of programming in Java. I am Dr. Ashutosh Kumar Bhatt, Associate Professor, School of Computer Science and IT, Uttarakhand Open University, Haldwani. So today I will discuss about multi-level inheritance. The learning objective of this lecture is types of inheritance, single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. So, we will discuss about all these type of inheritance along with multi-level inheritance. So, first of all, inheritance in Java. So, this inheritance represent parent-child relationship. It basically we have parent class as well as we have derived class. So, we inherit the properties of base class into derived class. So, there are different types of inheritance, mainly single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance. In Java programming, multiple and hybrid inheritance is the supported through interface only. However, single inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance also be used in Java. So, you can see in this diagram. So, we have different classes. So, the class A, class B, where we are inheriting the property of class B into class A. So, this is single inheritance. When we are inheriting the properties of class C into class B and the properties of class B into class A. So, this is called multi-level inheritance, and in case when we have two different classes from one single class. So, this is called hierarchical inheritance. Here class A is inherited into class B and class C. Again you can see multiple inheritance where we have two base classes and one derived class. So, class A and class B are the base class and class C are the derived class. And finally, the combination of all these different type of inheritance are called hybrid inheritance. So, you can see here we have class A. So, this class A is inherited into class B and C. So, this is hierarchical inheritance, and this is also combined with other inheritance here also. So, class B and C are two other classes and these two classes are inherited into class D. So, this is multi-level inheritance, and class A is inherited into class B and class B inherited into class D. So, it is multi-level inheritance. So, the combination of different inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. So, now see the program of this inheritance. The first is single inheritance. So, this is the example of single inheritance where we have class student. So, inside this student class you can see display function, display method is given inside the student class. So, void display, this is method, and inside this method we have one output statement system.out.println welcome. So, you can see here this statement will display welcome message. So, this is inside the base class, that is student class. And now we have another class, that is professional student class. So, this professional student class is inherited from the class student. So, we are writing here extend keyword. So, this extend represent that we are inheriting other class. So, student is a base class, I have marked is a red color. So, this student class is inherited into professional student, and we have mentioned here extend keyword. So, see inside this second class professional student class we have display derived. This is the name of function or we can say it is method also in Java programming language. So, void display derived. So, this is the method of derived class, or sometime it is called subclass. And inside this derived class we have system.out.println, this output statement, and here we are writing the message in my institute. So, these are two classes, one is student class and another class is the professional student class. So, student is a base class and professional student is a derived class. Now, we are implementing this derived class into third class, test class. So, class test, it is third class, and inside this class we have public static void main string args, and in first statement inside this main we are defining the object of professional student class. So, the P is a object of professional student class, and P equals to new professional student. By this way we are defining the object of professional student class. Now we are writing P dot display derive. So you can see here this display derive is a method which is part of derived class, which is part of professional student class. So by using this P object we are running the method of this same class, means this derived class, and again by using this P object we are executing the display function also, and this display function is a part of student class. So the same object is used to execute the function of derived class as well as the function of base class. So here I am saying function. Function is also called method. In the Java programming language, this function is called method, but usually we call it function. So see the output also, the left bottom part, you can see the output, the welcome, this message is displaying, and then again in my institute is also displaying same time. So this way we are running this program, and this program represents single inheritance, where one class is a base class and another professional student is a derived class. So this is the example of single inheritance. Now see the another example where we are also representing single inheritance. This is another example of single inheritance where we have two classes. The first class is AAA, class AAA, and the second class is BB, and we are extending this first class AAA class into BB class. So you can see the bottom part of this slide where we have mentioned class BBB extend class AAA. So see the first class AAA class where we have one variable integer a and the constructor of the class, and in the default constructor, this is called default constructor because we are not passing any argument to this constructor. So in this default constructor we are assigning value to this a variable. So we are assigning by 0. So we are copying 0 into a variable, and now see the another constructor where we are passing one argument a1, and this a1 is passed to a variable. So this is also clearly mentioned here, and the third is the method which is display method. So there are two constructor and third is our method display one method. So by this method we are printing the value of the variable which is defined inside this class. This a variable will be printed here. Now see the another second class, that is BB class, and inside this class we are defining one variable integer b. Now in the constructor of this second class we are passing two arguments. However, we have only one variable inside this second class, but we are passing two arguments x and y. So the first argument will be passed to the constructor of the base class. So you can see here super keyword. So this is important. So here we are writing super keyword. So this super keyword is used to execute the base class constructor. So base class constructor is AAA, where we are passing one argument. So this one argument, this first argument x is passed to the constructor, and this x will be copied into a1, and this a1 will copy it into a variable, and the second variable, second argument means second argument y will be copied into the variable b. So this b is defined inside this BB class. So both the variable will be copied. First variable will be copied into the constructor of base class, and the second argument y will be transferred to the variable b, which is part of this second class, this derived class. So this way we are passing two variable and two different classes, and finally we have this display2 function, and we are printing the value of b here in this display2 function. So these are the two different classes, and now we will execute this class BBB, and through this class, through this function, this constructor as well as this display 2 function, we will execute, we will print the value of B as well as value of A, and see this third class test, and inside this test class we have public static void main string args, and here we are defining the object of this second class, this derived class. So, always you have to remember that we have to define the object of second class. So, in this example the second class is derived class is B class, and see in this example also we have this professional student, so which is also derived class. So, we will define the object of this derived class. So, same way in this program we have derived class BBB, and we will define the object of this derived class, and by this by the object of derived class we will execute the function of same class as well as its previous class, its base class also. So, this k is the object of class BBB, and we are passing 5 and 7 2 argument. So, this 5 will be transferred to x, and the another variable 7, another value 7 will be transferred to the value variable y, and by this x and y we will initialize the value of A and initialize the value of B. And finally, we are writing here k dot display 1 and k dot display 2. So, this display 1 is a part of first class base class, and display 2 is a part of derived class. See here there are two functions, display 1 and display 2. Display 1 is a part of first class and display 2 is a part of derived class. So, we will execute both function by one object, and the object is the object of derived class. So, k dot display 1 and k dot display 2. So, these are two example of single inheritance. Now, the multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance. So, you can see the syntax of this also. So, here employee and programmer are two different classes. So, one is programmer class and another one is the employee class. So, there is a relation between these two classes. So, we have this employee class is a base class and programmer class is a derived class. So, this is also again this is the example of single inheritance. So, extend keyword we are using here. So, the extend keyword indicate that you are making a new class that derives from the existing class. So, always this extend keyword is used for the defining that which class is extend from which class. So, this is the example of inheritance. So, the meaning of extend is to increase the functionality. In the terminology of Java, a class which is inherited is called parent class, super class, and the new class called child class, or sometimes it is called subclass. So, this is another example where we have employee class, and inside employee class you can see here one variable salary variable. This is float type variable, and we have initialized 50,000 in this variable. We have already given value to this variable, and now we have another class, that is manager class, and this class is extend from the employee class. The first class is a base class and super class, and the second one is the subclass. So, second class means manager class is a subclass of this first class, and in the second class we have bonus variable, and we have also initialized this variable by 20,000. So, its type is integer. Now, we are using here, we are writing here this main. So, in derived class we can also write the main function inside the derived class, inside the subclass. So, public static void main string args, it is mentioned here, it is written here, and now see the object of this derived class. So, inside the class we are writing here the main, and inside the main we are creating the object, we are defining the object of this derived class. So, manager m equals to new manager, and we are writing in next line we are writing the output statement, that is system.out.println manager salary m dot salary and manager bonus of manager m dot bonus. So, these are two variable which we can directly use here. So, output also mentioned here. So, you can see the output also. So, this is the program of single inheritance. Now, see the example of multi level inheritance. When we have different classes, so we can use these multi-level inheritance. So here in this example, we are inheriting the class C into class B and class B into class A. So this is called multi-level. When we have only two classes, then we will use single inheritance. When we use different classes, different level of classes, then we will have this multi-level inheritance. So class C, so you can see here class C inherited into class B and class B inherited into class A. So class C, basically see this multi-level example, multi-level inheritance example. Here class C, where we have only display one function, and in this display one function we are printing this how string, only one string how. And now see the class B. So class B, which is inherited from class C. So see again see the code, class B extend C, means we are inheriting class B from class C, and inside this class B we have display2 function, and in this function we are displaying the output R. And now see the class A, third class, and this third class is inherited from the class B. So now see the clear example of this multi-level inheritance, where class B is extending from class C and class A extending from class B. So inside class A we have display3 function, and this in this display3 function we are printing the string U. And finally we have this last class, class test, and inside class test we have public static void main string args, and again see the object of class A. So finally we have class A, means class A is inherited from class B and class B is inherited from class C. So this class A, for this class A we have defined one object, that is object X equals to new A, and now we can execute all display function, display 1, display 2 and display 3 by this single object X. So X dot display 1, X dot display 2 and X dot display 3. So when we will execute all these three display function, so simultaneously these three, sequentially these three, not simultaneously, sequentially these three display function will execute, and accordingly they will display, they will represent this output how are U. So this is the example of multi-level inheritance. And now see the hierarchical inheritance, where we have one base class and this class A is inherited into class B and class C. So again see the example where we have class A we have the function eat function, and inside this function we are displaying this system.out.println welcome message, and then class B and class C, both classes are extending from class A. See the syntax of both class is same, class B extend A, class C extend A. So when we are writing class B extend A, then it will then inside this class B we have display one function system.out.println. So this message will be displayed, and inside class C again we have display one function. So we have this message also, and now finally you can see class test, and inside this class test public static void main string args, and we will define the object of both derived class. So we have here in this example we have two different derived classes, class B and class C. So we will define the object of, first we will define the object of class B. This is small b equals to new class B, and b dot display 1 and b dot display. So we will write this one b dot display 1 and b dot display. So both function will be executed. This display 1 is a derived class function, and display function will be the base class, class A. However, this is misprinted here, this name of function is eat mentioned in class A. So it will be display, and class C equals to class C, its object is small c equals to new c, and again we will write here the function display 1 and display. So this is the example of hierarchical inheritance. So in case of hierarchical inheritance, in this example we have B and C both classes, and we will define the object of, first we will define the object of class A, and then we will execute the function of class A as well as class B. And when we will define the object of class C, then we will execute the method of class C as well as method of class A. So, these are this is the example of this. And now, see the another example of inheritance. So, where we have one interest class. So, this is also a example of inheritance. So, in this example we have this class interest, and inside this interest class we have method input. One is the variable, that is the first line, which is public float PRT. So, we have defined here three variable, P variable, R variable and T variable, and also we have one function, that is public void input function. So, inside this function we have initialize all these three variables. So, P is assigned 10,000 value, R is assigned, R means rate of interest. So, it is it will be assigned by 10, and T for time, and time is 3 year. So, this is basically for simple interest, for calculating simple interest. So, we can calculate simple interest as well as we can calculate compound interest. So, these three variables are required for finding calculating simple interest as well as compound interest. So, you can see here class simple, the first class is class simple, I have colored is by blue, class simple as well as class compound. When we are writing here class simple, so it will be extended from class interest, as well as when we will write this class compound, again it is inherited from class interest. So, this is also example of hierarchical inheritance, because we have one parent class, one super class, sometime it is called super class also and parent class also. So, we have one super class, that is interest class, and two derived class, two different derived class, these are simple and compound. So, this is a clear example of hierarchical inheritance. So, when we will have this simple class, so we need only one output variable, SI variable, because of we have already three variable, principal amount, rate of interest and time, which is defined in the base class. So, we need not to define these three variable in derived class. We will also only define this simple SI, private float SI, and in case of compound class we will only define this private float CI, means only compound interest variable will be defined here, and in the simple class we will define SI variable, which will represent simple interest. And now, see the process function. Already we have three variable, and we have the initial value of all three variable, principal amount, rate and time, rate of interest and time. And now we are using this process function in simple class, where we are writing this formula SI equals to P into R into T divided by 100, and by system.out.println we are printing the value of SI, simple interest, and same pattern of the function as well as class will be in compound also. So, here you can see class compound extend interest. So, we have private float CI. So, this is the variable, and public void in process, this is the function, and inside this function we have CI equals to P into math dot power 1 plus R upon 100. So, this is the power function, and power of 1 plus R upon 100, its power T. So, minus P. So, this is the example of CI, this is the example, and this is the formula of finding compound interest. Now, system by writing this statement system.out.println, we are printing the value of compound interest, CI will be printed by this line. So, this is the another example of hierarchical inheritance. Now, see the final class of this program, this inheritance program, because we have defined base class as well as simple and compound class, but now we have to execute, we have to write main function of it. So, how we will write main function? We have to define one more class, and inside this result class we will have this public static void main string args, and the first line you can see, first of all we will define the object of simple class. So simple S equals to new simple. This S is a object of simple class. So we are writing here S dot input and S dot process. And the same time we will define the object of compound class. Compound C equals to new compound. So C is the object of second class compound class. So the first class is simple and second class is compound. So we will define the object of both class, simple as well as compound class. So C is the object of compound class, S is the object of simple class, and in both cases we will write C dot input and C dot process as well as S dot input and S dot process. So this input, when we will execute this input function, so it will move to this interest class, and inside the interest class we have input function. So in both cases this input function will be executed. However, in case of this process, so we have two different process method. So when we will execute the process method of simple class, then we will write S dot process. S dot process means S dot process will execute the process function of simple class. And in second case, when we have this C dot process, so because C is the object of compound class, so in that case it will execute the process function of compound class. The name is same, but these two different function, two process function will be executed separately by the object of their respective class. The process function of simple class will be executed when we will define the object of simple class, and the process function of compound will be executed when we will define the object of compound class. So this way we are writing, we will execute the program. So this is again the example of hierarchical inheritance. So finally we can say we have different type of inheritance: multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance, and single inheritance. So by this lecture, by listening this lecture, the learner will understand the learning outcome of we can say the learning outcome of this lecture is to understand the types of inheritance in Java, like single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. So thank you learner, thank you very much.